attend us. Glad to see you again in the Syrian educational platform. I am Miss Hiba Haj Khalil, a teacher of the English language at Ahmad Iskandar School in Damascus. Today is Sunday, 12th February 2023. We're going to start with grade 10, unit 7, 7 Wonders of Syria. Syria has a rich heritage and is home to the oldest civilizations and living cities in the world, where some of the biblical stories took place. Not only Damascus, but other cities also have a great historical value and cultural importance. The 7 wonders of Syria below can be among all the other magnificent sites. So today we're going to talk about the 7 wonders of Syria. It's one of the Umayyad Mosque. So we're going to start with the Umayyad Mosque. It's one of the incredible monuments, certainly worth a visit. It's at the center of the old city of Damascus. So it's in the center of Damascus. At the end of Souk al-Hamidiyya, this beautiful piece of art was constructed by the Umayyad Caliph al-Walid ibn Abdul Malik in 705 AD, when Damascus was the capital of the Arab Islamic State. So the Umayyad Mosque was constructed in the period of Walid ibn Abdul Malik. Also, it was an architectural model for hundreds of mosques throughout the Islamic world. So when you come to Syria, you are recommended to visit the Umayyad Mosque. This is the big Umayyad Mosque. Busra. Busra is a popular tourist destination in Syria. It's renowned all over the world as one of the oldest cities and the Roman province in the ancient times. Its well-preserved amphitheater is the major attraction that has remained absolutely untouched and shows the genius of the Roman architecture in details. It's visited by many tourists from all over the world. So tourists, when come to Syria also, they go to Busra. This is the amphitheater of Busra. Now, Apamia. Apamia, it's an interesting city in Syria and an example of the Roman culture. So it's built in the Roman era, offering plenty of attractions. There are several historical monuments to enjoy in Apamia, such as the high walls and the main road Cardo Maximus, fascinating with its dimensions and the buildings on its both sides. Apamia, so it's an old city. It's very known in Syria. And this is a picture of Apamia. So it's a very old city. Water wheels Norias. They are the major tourist destinations in Hama, visited by tourists from all over the world. They were built during the ancient Byzantine times in order to move water to aqueducts. But only 17 of the wheels are preserved today. People go there to learn about the life in the Roman times and the genius of architecture. And these are the wheels in Hama, or Norias. Now, Croix de Chevalier. Croix de Chevalier, or Al-Hisn Fort, Croix de Chevalier, or Al-Hisn Fort, is a famous castle in Syria, so it's a castle or a citadel, and an absolute must for history lovers. It's a medieval castle. The fact that the Croix de Chevalier is preserved in such a good condition makes it an attraction for all tourists traveling in Syria. The size of the castle is quite impressive, and it's also protected by a stone wall. So, Croix de Chevalier, or Al-Hisn Fort, is a big citadel built in the medieval area, and it's an attraction for all tourists. And it's also protected or surrounded by a stone wall. This is a picture of Croix de Chevalier. Now we have Ugarit. The ruins of Ugarit are believed to be the most prominent part of Syria, so it's the most important part of Syria. It's also of great scientific interest for historians and archaeologists because of the city that was once existed there. So it's a very famous city, or it's very famous. They are very famous ruins because of the cities that once existed there. This city is 6,000 years old and is surrounded by a wall for protection. And this is a picture of Ugarit, the city of alphabets, Arabic ones. Ma'lula, or Ma'lula as it's pronounced in Arabic, the charming little village. So it's a little village. Ma'lula is located towards the northern part of Damascus. It's one of the famous tourist attractions of Syria because it's renowned for its blue painted houses. So Ma'lula is famous for its blue painted houses at the edges of the Kalamon Mountains. Ma'lula is one of the places in the world where Aramaic, the original language of the Bible, is still spoken. This highlights the village's importance as an early Christian stronghold. And this is Ma'lula. Now, we're going to start with the exercises. Question 1. Find the meanings of these words from the text. Unbelievable. Unbelievable can't be believed or incredible. Stadium or the theater means amphitheater. Famous means renowned, or also you have the word prominent. Canal or waterway, it's an aqueduct. Castle or citadel, fort. A person who studies the past by excavation, analysis of its material remains, he is an archaeologist. And finally, the word kept intact means preserved, or also we have the word protected. Now, question 2. Answer the following questions about the text above. Question 1. In which era was the Umayyad Mosque built? It was built in 705 when Damascus was the capital of the Arab Islamic State. Question 2. How important is Busra's amphitheater? It has remained absolutely untouched and shows the genius of the Roman architecture in details. What are the main features of Apamia? Apamia is an example of the Roman culture, offering plenty of attractions, and it has several monuments to enjoy in Apamia, such as the main road Cardo Maximus, fascinating with its dimensions and the buildings on its both sides. Question 4. Where does Ma'lula's historical importance come from? It's one of the places in the world where Aramaic, the original language of the Bible, is still spoken. Now we're going to move to true or false. Water wheels in Hama were built to attract tourists from around the world. False. So the Norius or water wheels weren't built to attract tourists, but they were built to move water from aqueducts. Croix de Chevalier is protected by water canals around it. Also false, it's protected by a wall. Ugarit city was fortified with a wall. This is true. Aramaic, the original language of the Bible, is extinct in Ma'lula, so it's false because it's not extinct, it is still spoken till now. Now we're going to move to the grammar section. We're going to talk about the past perfect simple tense. Its form is the subject plus had and verb 3 and complement. So all the subject pronouns take the verb auxiliary had, or the auxiliary verb had. Example, I had left home when you called. Left here is verb 3. When we want to make it a negative sentence, we should only put not after the auxiliary verb had. I hadn't left. So I had left in negative becomes I hadn't left home when he called. In a question, we should make a reverse between the subject, between the subject pronoun and the auxiliary verb had. Then it will become, had you left home when I called? Yes, I had. No, I hadn't. And sure, don't forget the commas after yes and no. It's adverbs or adverbs of the past perfect simple. They are so simple. We have by the time, it's the most important one. Also, we have before, when, after, and until. Now, why do you use the past perfect simple? We use it for completed actions in the past. So when we are talking about an action that was completed in the past, like I had visited Rome before, so it is a completed action. Also, an action that had finished before another action at past. So you have two actions, one of them begun and completed, fully completed before the other one. I had eaten lunch by the time you came in. So first I finished eating lunch, then you came in. The first action, we put the first action that happened first in the past perfect simple, and the second one in the in the simple past. So the first one in the past perfect, and the second one in the simple past. Also, an action that had finished before a specific time at past. So the past perfect expresses an action that had completed before another action or before a specific time at past. Example, I had traveled by 9 a.m. So by 9 a.m. I had traveled. So I wasn't there at 9 a.m. I had traveled, and this happened first. Now, we're going to know the difference between the past perfect simple and past perfect continuous. So the past perfect continuous form is subject plus had been, exclusive had been, and verb ing and complement. Like I had been playing football, I had been watching TV, etc. Why do we use it? An action that was in progress over a period of time in the past. So it was in progress, it was continuing over a period, but in the past. Like I had been watching TV that night. Also, to express repeated actions in the past. When you have actions but repeated in the past, also we can use the past perfect continuous. Like I had been playing tennis 3 times this week. So this or the word this or the adverb this is very important here. It refers to the past perfect continuous. An action of certain duration that had visible results in the past. So when an action that was in progress in the past but had visible results. Like Mark had been studying Spanish for 5 years. That's why he was fluent in Spanish. So why was Mark fluent in Spanish? So this is the result. The result is he was fluent in Spanish. What's the cause of his fluency? The cause is that he was or he had been studying Spanish for 5 years. Now, we have a note. We can't normally use the continuous for a state, so with the stative verbs, like emotional verbs, like mental verbs, like senses verbs, we can't use the continuous with them. Example, George had seemed unwell for some time before he died. So the verb seem here is a stative verb, so we can't use the past progressive with is or past progressive, nor the past perfect progressive also, but we put it in the simple tense, like the past perfect simple. Also, we have note 2. If we talked about how many times something happened, we use the past perfect simple, not the past perfect continuous. So but without the word this. If you are talking about something that happened many times, you can use the past perfect, but look, if you have the word this and the verb is not a stative verb, you can also use the past perfect continuous. If it was, if the verb was an action verb, is not a stative one. Example, how many times had you met him before yesterday? So the verb meet, here met is verb 3, but the verb meet generally is not a stative verb. We can use past perfect or past perfect continuous also if the word this is existed, okay? Now, what's the difference between the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous? The past perfect simple expresses a completed action in the past. So the past perfect simple expresses a completed or a finished action in the past, like I had done my homework. The past perfect continuous, an action over a period. So the past perfect continuous expresses an action that was in progress over a period, okay, was in progress over a period in the past, like I had been doing my work all the night before. So also the word all expresses a continuous tense. Now we're going to do an exercise. Fill in the following sentences by using past perfect simple or past perfect continuous. In some cases, both tenses are possible. So we have either past perfect simple or past perfect continuous, and in some cases you can use both. Number 1, I was tired because I had typed or had been typing for a long time. So we can use both tenses here because we have the adverb for. With since and for, we can use both tenses if the verb wasn't a stative one. Now, her boss was very angry with her because she had come to work very late. It's a finished action. She had come and it's done, so we use the past perfect. I didn't know about the earthquake because I hadn't watched television. Also, it's finished. The earthquake happened and I didn't watch television. It's a finished action, so I put it in the past perfect. Simple. He had studied or had been studying English for more than 2 weeks when I visited him. Also, as we have mentioned above, the word or the adverb for can be used with the past perfect simple or the past perfect continuous, and the verb study is not a stative verb, so we can use both of these tenses. Pronunciation, A and I. The sound A is referred as EI, but the sound I or the pronunciation I is referred as AI. Look, all these words have the same pronunciation or the same vowel pronunciation, like save, save, railway, day, break, name, Spain, say, gray. So notice with me the red letters, they are pronounced as A. But here, these red letters are pronounced as I. Example, like, shy, night, buy, eyes, nice, cycle, and side. So all of these red letters in this box are pronounced as I. This is the end of our lesson. I hope you enjoyed it and have benefit of it. Thank you very much.